Hi, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. We're going to go over and as time is it's been of the essence just lately with all our trials and tribulations with our trucks and having to walk down to the road, and yeah, we had enough. We had enough of Murphy that I want to go over there and sock him one. Somebody told me that he's an Irishman. Did you know that Murphy was an Irishman? She said. Well, Murphy, go home. Anyway, one of the subjects of our videos, which aroused a great deal of sympathy and comment, and pretty well everything was positive. Everybody really liked. A few unreasonable things that were suggested, which I'll deal with. But that's based on a Western viewpoint of how things would be done in the West as compared to the very, very low help for people in trouble here in the Philippines. So, care for the blind man. Overall, great. He looks good. Doesn't he look good? Doesn't he look happy? When we go around there, he is completely happy. Now, somebody said, well, maybe we should be training the dogs. There's so many dogs, train one of them to be a guide dog. Do you know how much training takes to do a guide dog? And those dogs that we have, let me tell you, we have a little stool that's outside, a little kind of a bench that's outside our door that Beth always used to sit on when the signal was good out there, and the dogs like to sit on there. Well, we don't want the dogs sitting there, so we tell them not to. And every single time that I go out there, if I catch one of them on there, I whack it on the backside. Does it learn? Yes, it does actually, but it doesn't train. Now, I'm not a dog trainer. Don't think of me as a dog whisperer, because I don't. I'm a dog shouter. Get off that stool! That's how I do it. And is it great? Am I going to get a TV series showing how to shout at dogs? I don't think so. And they know as soon as the door is opened, they know to get off that stool. So they've learned, but they just haven't listened. So, guide dog, it's a lovely idea. Couldn't we just do it? But it wouldn't be actually practical. And here's why. The blind man lives in his little house, which he is very happy with now and very grateful for, and he is well fed because of Ma'am Tita, who has become something of a hero for the blind man. Now, where does he live? He lives at the end of a long and rocky and uneven and muddy dirt track. That's where he lives from the road. And when he gets out to the road, what would he do? It's not a work-around area, a walk-around area. It's just not that way. So, even with a stick, which actually a cane, I actually thought that that was a great idea, because I did notice, and I made a comment actually to our friend Roger, who was visiting, Roger and Bing, and I made that comment that in the West, the blind man would be trained, and he would be trained to be able to find his way around a house once he knew where everything was, and he would know how to have these little places where he would get his bearings, and if he puts his hand on something over here, then he knows that if he goes straight across, then he'll find the next thing that he needs. And did you notice that when we did that video, he was stood at his front door, and he had his hand on the door jamb, and he didn't know where the bench was, where we were going to sit. He didn't know how high it was. He didn't know to walk gently forward until his shin came up against the bench, and then he would turn and sit down. He didn't know how to do these things. So when somebody said, how about a cane? A couple of people said, how about a cane? It's a great idea, and we'll handle that. We will do that. We'll get him a cane, and with Beth translating, perhaps I can help him to be able to use that. Great idea. Thanks for the suggestion. Now, Lola and Lolo. Somewhere along the line, in with that video, somebody thought that they were complaining. Well, when we put a cement floor down, let me explain something. When we put a cement floor down, it takes a while for that to go off, but the people are not going to stay in the slum when they can move into that house. So what we've always done is we bought them a bed. Well, in Lola's case, we just ran out of money. We just didn't have the money to be able to buy the bed. Now, because of that, they laid a mat down on the floor, and then the mattress that we gave them some time ago went on top of the mattress. But it's a little bit cold, and the body pulls up the dampness into that mat. So in the morning, they take the mattress and they stand it up against the wall. So that was what prompted the response to my comment of, wow, they got that, and well, you heard the video. Were they grateful? You have no idea. These two people are so overwhelmed by the generosity of those who contributed to making this house possible. Remember that they asked us because they only saw death when they were in that tiny house that they were in, and they had been reduced almost to a dirt floor cell. So now that they have that house, it is a palace. Make no mistake, it's a palace to them. And they are just overwhelmed. You understand? Overwhelmed. Can they come forward and express eloquently how wonderful they feel about it? No, they're not going to be able to do that. Forgive them for that. They are very, very, very grateful to everyone that helped to make that happen. And so am I. Thank you. What else? Canadian, Alan. Well, we still are on the cusp of good, bad, indifferent. And somebody said, actually, and pretty fair too, bordering on a negative, which I'm sorry, sometimes things come out that way. And he said, will we ever know the truth about this situation? And I would ask the same question, will we ever? Meantime, there is that young woman, and she has got a little baby. So this is what is happening, is that Paul and Dude, and did someone else pledge some money for Alan's wife, Beth?
Noel.
Noel. Are we supposed to mention his name?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Well, so a couple of people have pledged some money to support, because the way that it looked like he was going to go back to Canada, and that's not happened. And as you saw in the video, his wife or his girlfriend, we don't know, and we don't question that. That's not our business to know whether they are legally married. I'm not the marriage police. It is what it is. Certainly they have a committed relationship and a child, and that's what interests me, and that's what is the focus of what we do. We had thought she was going to be alone with that child, and what would be the support. So Paul and Dude have actually pledged that they will give a sum of money enough for them to live very modestly, which they are living very modestly, and be able to pay for food. And they're going to do that for 2 months. And I'm not quite sure what our other subscriber Noel is going to do, but he's a very generous man, has been an incredible supporter of our channel, and I'm sure that he'll come up with something. So we'll find out. That lady is coming to church tomorrow, and so we'll see her then, and maybe there's some more information, and we'll tell the information as we get it. Right, somebody told Beth that she'd better be nice to me. I'm all for that. But let me tell you something about Beth and my relationship. We put a performance on some of the videos that we make, where we do our multitasking nonsense videos. Now, in case you haven't got it, it's a performance, it's an act. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not quite as stupid as I put over sometimes. Sometimes I'm quite intelligent. Surprise, surprise. And Beth will play her part, and all the things that other people see as a very serious thing, you know, she clocks me on the side of the head, it doesn't hurt. Okay? It's part of a way of entertaining, and we do that, and the exchange between us, we do, and we make it fun. And that's the whole idea. We are making those little chats, those little exchanges between us, we're making them fun. But boy, I love that woman, and I know that she loves me, and we have a good marriage. Don't worry about that. What else? Now, I like this one because somebody wrote in, and basically it was about the quotes that I said, some of the smartest things ever said. And I'm thinking that this was from someone from the UK, but I may be wrong. But he said that he heard one great quote, one great quote of a politician talking about another politician, and he said, he reminds me of a shiver looking for a spine to run up. I thought that was good. Now, back to very briefly, back to the blind man. Wind chimes. What the heck is wrong with wind chimes? Those wind chimes there were beautiful, and we put them up in the door, and you know what? He'll clock his head on those every time he goes through, and they sound beautiful. They're incredibly light. They're not great big bamboo clunkers. They're very, very light. He'll brush his head against those, and if anybody else comes in and they move that door, he'll get a little chime, very, very light. And I thought they were a great idea. They were beautiful. So, oh, here's one. Sir Terence doesn't look very good. In fact, he looks as if he's about to drop. Thank you for that one. That reminds me of that one that I always tell you when we're talking about odd voices, where it says, "My word, you do look queer. My word, you do look queer." Do I look queer? I'm doing my best, okay? I'll go off after this video and I'll take another vitamin, alright? So, what else? The Terrible Man. When we went round the last time and saw what Beth has now christened as the Terrible Man, it actually was the Terrible House, if you remember, and she made up another title and said the Terrible Man, and we visit him and so on, and he came to us when we went round the other day, and he said, "I've stopped drinking." Wonderful, isn't it? So, our lovely, lovely visitors, Roger and Bing. I've got a complaint to make about Roger and Bing. It was too short. You shouldn't have gone home yet. You should have stayed another week or two. And we enjoyed being with them so much. Like you said, Bing was she's a firecracker, and a great talker, a great speaker, and intelligent woman. And Roger, deeply spiritual man, intellectual, but spiritual. And we had some great conversations which were snatched between various parts of the dinner, where everybody else disappeared out of sight as far as we were concerned, and we just chatted. And it was terrific. I will treasure those moments that we had with both of those people. We didn't have a chance to show Bing where we live, or Roger, because Bing wasn't feeling so well. Which brings me to most of the comments that were made about Bing, saying, "Bing, get well." So we're passing on those good comments and saying, "Bing, get well." Now here's one. You have a heart of gold, but you have no idea. So the man has gone on a great extent about that we have no idea about and he must be talking about Filipinos, and that you can't talk to Filipinos about money and about costs and all of that because they simply won't understand. I'm sorry, I don't accept this. I just don't. I've heard this before from other people on other channels, and that there's no point in talking about a people and saying, as if you know about every single one of them, that they don't know anything about how to handle money. It really isn't true. And while a lot of people have a lot to learn, that's the way of life, isn't it? And when people stand up and make a sweeping statement like that, I have to say I don't agree. Somebody else wrote to me and said that it seemed to him, I'm paraphrasing now, it seemed to him to be a fact that, in fact, when an expat comes over here, he is going to be pretty well raped. For all of his money, Filipinos will get into his account and they'll strip him of everything and he'll end up with nothing. And he proved his point by saying that 26 people had contacted him and proved that this was the case. And this is what I think about that. The more that you focus, and I've said this so many times before, the more that you focus on finding a particular thing, the more you'll find it. The brain works like that. The mind works like that. It has a system of pruning through of searching through all of the billions of pieces of information that are absolutely flooding in to our sensory perceptions all the time. And it finds out by listening, so to speak, what you're interested in. And whatever you are interested in is what will come in. You start to be interested in how people are hurting each other, and guess what will come in? And as soon as you start thinking about how good people can be, guess what will come in? You make your choices. You make your choices of people, circumstances, places that you live, how you want to live your life, and what you think about everything from A to Z. Everything that you think about. You think about a car, you think about a particular car, and you will start seeing that car where you never saw it before. I could give you a car to look for, and you would start finding it, and probably you'd be commenting and cursing me and said, "Terence, why did you do that? That's all I see now is a damn Volkswagen Beetle." Think about that now. A Volkswagen Beetle. See how many you see. So, the last, which you will be very happy to hear, is Beth for Barangay Captain. They think, people out there, some of you guys think that she would make a great Barangay Captain, and I agree, except that it's not our job. It's not our job any more than it is to judge whether people are worthy. It's not our job to ask whether people are married. It's not our job to ask whether this is a good wife or is that a good husband. It's not our job. Our job is to bring acts of kindness that have been given to us so that we are empowered to pass them on. As Beth says, we are a channel for the blessings that other people give to us to give on, and we do that faithfully. So Beth will not be running for Barangay Captain because... What?
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, I've just been told, who knows? I will speak to her sternly about this when I get off the video.
But I'm not.
What?
I'm not.
You're not?
Yeah.
So, first of all, you interrupt me by saying, who knows? And then you are can you come here, please? Then you interrupt me by saying, who knows? Well, which is it?
Yeah, I think it's not. You know, I could help in a small way, but not on...
But you're helping in a big way right now.
I'm not on that. Maybe a barangay councilor, but not captain.
No, and I don't want you because don't
Because
barangay captains get shot, don't they? I'm not really ready for that.
I heard about a barangay councilor said that, oh, I don't want to run for barangay captain because every time there's a visitor goes to the house, right?
So if there's anybody needs anything, they go to the house of the councillor.
Yeah, in other words, if there's some food, go there. I mean, if there's a visitor.
Well, they're doing that with us anyway, aren't they?
No, not like that. For example, there's a visitor from municipal office, right? Or other rank, right?
Yeah.
So automatically goes to the barangay captain all the preparations of the food because the mayor or the congressman was there, right?
Oh, so we're talking about the office of the barangay captain now, aren't we?
Like that, but no, I don't think so.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
Well, you want to say goodbye?
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Well, we'll be on again. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for looking in. Oh, it's a long one. Oh gosh. Do you know that this one is 24 minutes?
Oh my God, it's too long.
She says it's too long. Well, what pearls of wisdom are you going to possibly cut out of this video?
I just listen it.
She'll just delete it. It's wonderful to feel so important. Bye for now.